Hello, welcome to the Trophy Trails of PlayStation Trophy Hunters. I'm one of your hosts, Ed Azil. Joining me today on this special episode, we have B-Tips.
Hello.
We have Justin.
Hello.
Nomad Dragon.
Hey there.
And of course, the Vectronic.
Hello.
Hey guys, this is indeed a special episode. We are throwing out our usual segments for today because this is our post-E3 special. I guess we could call it a special because we're throwing away all of our regular stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover a lot of the announcements and a lot of the games shown at E3. However, we're not going to do every single announcement, every single game, because that would take just forever. And we try and keep our podcasts nice and short and easy to listen to and efficient. So what we've actually done is before we started recording is we went through a whole bunch of games that we're each excited for, and we've kind of just compiled them together into a list, and we're just going to go through them, and we're going to talk about them individually and what our reactions are to them. Kind of in some reactions as well from like some of us watched the live streams, some of us didn't, and we're just going to just have a chat about it. So is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's just jump in. So the first game we're going to talk about is actually one that cropped up quite a lot in all of our choices, and that is Kingdom Hearts 3. So personally, I'm not too invested in Kingdom Hearts, so I'm going to hand it over to, I'll tell you what, Nomad, why don't you tell us your...
I am unbelievably hyped for this game, like above any other game at E3. I've played every single Kingdom Hearts, and I just cannot. Like, when I saw the Pirates of the Caribbean trailer, I started to get teary-eyed. Like, it's
It's
I
crazy,
cannot wait.
It's
It looks
crazy.
so much better than it looked before.
It's crazy how much of a emotional impact video games can have on us, especially ones that we grew up playing. I saw a bit of the trailer. They showed the same trailer at two different conferences. They one at the Square Enix Stream, and they showed it at the Microsoft conference as well, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Vec, what's your take on it?
I watched all 3 trailers about it, and the first one was like, oh, this is very good. They introduced so many concepts, like, for example, they introduced more worlds like Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, who we knew previously, and each one of the conferences added a bit of extra gameplay. I think in the first one was mainly Frozen based, and then the other one were... What was the Square Enix one? I'm trying to remember right. Tangled, and then the
Yeah, they showed some Tangled.
And then the other one was basically Pirates of the Caribbean, which I know, Nomad, you're like, really? This is amazing! I'm like, I'm just glad I can run around and Wreck-It Ralph for me. It's like,
No, Wreck-It Ralph was just a summon.
oh, it's a summon only? Aw, that sucks.
Well, can't.
Well, so
can't win
so far confirmed. I mean, that's what we've seen.
Okay. B-Tips, what about you? You hyped for Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, absolutely. When I was 13 or 14, I grew up on the first Kingdom Hearts game, and then I waited in line on day one to buy Kingdom Hearts 2, and I've just been buying every Kingdom Hearts on day one since then. And when they showed off these trailers at E3, I was on the edge of my seat just wanting more. And when they showed it at the Xbox, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then the Square Enix one was pretty much the same trailer, except they showed off the Ratatouille summon, which I thought was pretty I thought it was pretty cool.
And, visually speaking, the game looks incredible. Like I said, I don't really have much experience of it, but
yeah, it looks amazing.
It looks almost, well, pretty much just like some of the movies that are included, like especially the animated movies, like Frozen, for example, and Toy Story.
When they showed the Toy Story one, I was on the edge of my seat. It looked exactly like the movie to me, and when they showed off the Frozen, and I never saw Frozen, but it looked amazing. Pirates of the Caribbean looks like absolutely stunning. I wanted it to come out this year, but the fact that it's coming out in January, it doesn't bother me too much. It's at the beginning of the year, so.
Yeah, sure. What a big game to kick the year off with. Justin, how about you?
So I too got unbelievably hype about Kingdom Hearts 3, but for an entirely different reason. I was actually gone out of service for the weekend of E3. So I came back into service and my phone blew up. And I got pings and Twitters and all the notifications that Kingdom Hearts 3 was delayed. And as most people know, I had a little wager with friend of the program, Punish. We had a little wager of when that game was going to be released. And I had not 2018, which of course is now releasing in 2019, and which means I win a nice little sum of money from my friend Punish. So I too am very hyped for Kingdom Hearts 3. I am very hyped for 2019 Kingdom Hearts 3, and I will not be playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think for people not in the know, Justin's been basically the embodiment of this running meme for the last year within the Discord server about Kingdom Hearts being delayed and not coming out, and it seems that it's paid off. You've actually, the meme has paid off.
Yeah, it started off as something I didn't really care all that much about, but I knew it kind of rubbed people the wrong way when I took that opinion, and then it ended up paying off for me, so it worked out pretty good.
Nice. Well, I don't really have anything to say on it. As I said, I've never played the games and they don't really interest me, but they do look awesome. In fact, actually, my girlfriend plays them and she's really excited for it, so I'll end up, seeing it being played anyway. But yeah, it looks awesome. What a game, and I'm sure the wait will pay off. So with that, we'll move on to the next game. Next one on our list is Spider-Man for PS4. Now, we've talked about this at length anyway, but it seems that there's been a whole new bunch of gameplay footage. I personally didn't see the Sony conference because it was too early in my time zone, and I couldn't just real life responsibilities. I couldn't stay up and watch it. But anyway, if I'm absolutely honest with you guys, I haven't actually watched any of the new footage of Spider-Man outside of the new E3 footage because I don't need to. I'm absolutely 1,000% sold on this game, so I don't want to see any more footage. I just want to now experience it for myself, And the same goes to that. The same thing happened for Uncharted 4 when they announced it and they showed trailer after trailer. After about 2 trailers, I didn't watch anymore because I didn't need to watch anymore because it's sold. I'm sold on it, So for me, Spider-Man, I'm ready for it, So That's my thoughts. But Vec, how about you?
I am absolutely sold on this game. I'm going to pre-order it as soon as I get paid. And the first thing I'm going to do when I play that game, I'm going to go to the Empire State Building and I'm going to climb it. And be on the top. Although people already did that. But fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. It's going to basically break the boundary of what is the model of what is a good Spider-Man game that isn't just Spider-Man 2. Because this game looks so much fun, and even with the new gameplay, I was sold about the combat system, which is basically Batman but on Spider-Man, which is fine by me. Honestly, fine by me. And
yeah, some of the previous Spider-Man games, like the Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I played on Vita and PS4, it is Arkham style combat with the counters, the Spidey sense being the time to hit counter and all of that, and taking on groups of enemies. So it does work. I enjoyed the combat in those games. So I feel the Arkham brawling style that game sort of introduced, like taking on big groups at once, using your abilities, gadgets, powers, what have you, is really satisfying. So it's a good. Maybe it's similar to how when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, people said the game is good because it borrows from a lot of well-established systems from other games and sort of compiles them all into one big game. So that's how I kind of feel that Spider-Man is kind of as well. It borrows a lot of well-established systems from previous games. In this case, the combat is very similar to Arkham games, which is tried and tested, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. B-Tips, what about you?
Oh, I was sold the second I saw the game, the trailer from last year at E3. As soon as I saw the open world, I was like, oh, this is going to be an amazing game. The combat, similar to what Vec just said, it reminds me of Arkham Origins, or, just the Arkham games in general, I guess.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you have, these nifty little gadgets that you never had in previous Spider-Man games, like the ability to, you shoot out this little, sticky bomb, and it pulls out a string that just like shoots enemies into the wall. That was pretty funny. Like, there's gonna be some humorous ways to like, like knock out people. And
Yeah, I think
I can't wait to see all the environmental stuff.
It being developed by Insomniac Games, they're obviously going to. They're well known in their games for coming up with goofy weapons. Like Ratchet and Clank, obviously, like one of their biggest sort of franchises that they've developed for. And the same goes for like Resistance: Fall of Man, or just the Resistance series in general that they developed. That had a load of like really, really fun weapons in that game. I can't speak about Sunset Overdrive because I haven't played it, but I assume there's loads of like wacky weapons in it. So applying that to Spider-Man, I imagine there's going to be a lot of fun ways to take out enemies.
Yeah, plus the game just looks stunning. I wish I had a PS4 Pro just to see it in like tradition 4K, but seeing it in the trailer, it's just going to look beautiful.
Absolutely, it's got that Insomniac polish to it.
I can't wait to just like stand on top, like just like what Vex said. I just can't wait to stand on top of the Empire State Building and just like take in the entire view of the entire map.
There's going to be so many screenshots on Twitter that week. So many.
There's going to be one.
I might have to actually mute it.
There's going to be a lot of like Lady Liberty pictures and all those costumes. It looks so amazing. I want it so much. Bring it to me. Come September.
Is there a confirmed screenshot mode in that game? Like a picture mode?
You mean photo mode?
Photo mode, yeah.
Peter Parker has a camera. I'm sure it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head, but a lot of games are adding it in now because people demand it, for a big... It would do the game sort of a disservice if it didn't have a photo mode. Not that, obviously, a photo mode's like required to make it a good game. I just mean that games that are visually incredible, like Horizon, Uncharted, God of War, etc., etc. The photo mode just adds a whole different layer to the game, like a kind of like meta game almost, like who can get the best screenshot possible out of the game. I mean, even here on Discord on our server, we have a screenshots thread as well, where some incredible, beautiful screenshots from some of the most stunning games are uploaded here, and it's almost like professional photography, but in a digital space, So
for sure.
So
well, for me too, is like I had really no interest in playing God of War, and then I go look at that screenshot channel. I'm like, holy shit, this game looks awesome! Like just looking at screenshots makes me want to play that game.
Yeah, it's almost like free advertisement, really, for the game. People are going to share it on their social media, so people are going to see it. And there we go, case in point. Justin just said he saw it, a really nice screenshot, and it's sort of prompted him to investigate further and like be interested in the game. So having a photo mode in is basically free advertisement for a game.
We're too lazy to make our own screenshots for our store page. Come on, guys! The best screenshot features in the actual store page, so everybody can see. Winner gets a free copy of the game. It's like that would be awesome.
So I think everyone here is in agreement, though, that we're all well on board for Spider-Man, so we don't really need to talk about it anymore, really.
Definitely.
Black suit Spider-Man for costume, please.
I cannot wait to see how many costumes there are for the game. I'm hoping for like older, like 1980s Spider-Man suits and stuff like that.
I'm sure there's going to be so many to choose from.
And just the fact that Yuri Lowenthal is voicing Peter Parker just makes the game like so much more fun to me.
Wait.
Because he can come up with some wacky things to say.
Wait, Yuri's gonna voice it?
Yuri Lowenthal.
Holy shit!
Yep.
This game is
Yuri Lowenthal.
This game is perfect. Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, guys, and let's move on to our next PlayStation exclusive. Not all of the games on the list are PlayStation exclusives, but these are the most. We're a PlayStation podcast. We're all PlayStation gamers here primarily, so we've obviously bunched the exclusives more closer to the top of the list. So we have to get through them first. So the next one we've got is The Last of Us Part 2. They showed off at the Sony event some in-game cutscenes and actually went into the gameplay a little, some more stealth stuff. Seems that you play primarily, if not mainly, just as Ellie throughout this game. At least that's what's sort of implied. Yeah, guys, it looks awesome. So, Nomad, what do you think?
I think It looks really good. I mean, I'm surprised they showed gameplay. Like, I was really excited when I saw that. It's definitely surprising this early. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the release date for the game, but
I don't think they've given one.
oh, they haven't.
No.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think the cutscene that they showed, like, people might think it's controversial, but I think it's great that they're just doing what they want, and it's their creative minds are always trustworthy because I love Naughty Dog and what they do with Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Yeah, not to really go because I don't think this last like week over this like controversial scene between Ellie and I can't remember the other character's name during this cutscene, which then flashes away to gameplay and then back again. I don't really want to get into it, but like it's just baffling. Like,
yeah, it is to me.
Yeah. All right,
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I don't. Like I said, I'm not going to get all like into like the political nitty gritty and the agendas and all this like nonsense that's on Twitter. Just get over it, all right? So that's basically what needs to be said about that.
I just want to say one thing. Ellie was established as a lesbian or gay, I guess, in the Last of Us 1 DLC
Mm-hmm.
because she kissed her best friend like just before, I guess, bad things happen. I'm not going to spoil it in case anyone hasn't played it yet. But
Sure.
it's just they have like a farewell kiss before, bad stuff happens. So Ellie was already implied to like at least be bisexual, if nothing else.
I just think it's good that we're seeing, like, firstly, just speaking generally, over this E3 we were seeing more female protagonists and like LGBT people, primarily in the fourth game. It's like The Last of Us is I would call a mainstream video game. It's like it's one of those big games that comes along, like God of War, for example, where like even people who aren't like deeply into gaming, like say us here, or like are within the circles of gaming, keep up with gaming news, like people who are like right on the sort of outer rim of gaming, who just like really casual players who might like buy a few games over the lifetime of owning a PS4, don't really turn it on every week. But like Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, these big games that are like attract everyone in, I would make mainstream games because they're so huge. So having this in a main, I think is brilliant. It's fantastic, and I have no problem with it. People who have problems with it are just ridiculous. But I think gaming is inclusive. We should include everyone, and we're just dickheads about this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's really all I want to say on it. To be honest, it's a messy world we live in. But anyway, so we all sort of like. Is anyone here like not too hyped on The Last of Us?
I haven't played the first game either, so I'm gonna play it because it's like what 5
Play the game. Play the game.
You really
Just
need to
fucking play it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but it's always on sale on PS4.
I already
like,
have the game. I just haven't.
It's like $5.
I literally, before I even bought the game on PS4, the remastered one, I watched the game from beginning to end, all cutscenes, and I enjoyed the story that I watched, and I still went out and bought the game. 100% of that.
It has some good gameplay though. I really like the stealth gameplay in it, and it seems it's also the case in part 2 as well. The kind of like bit of gameplay they showed, it almost like, obviously the setting's different, but it really reminded me of the E3 demo for the PS3 version of The Last of Us, like when it first was announced, where they showed the apartment building demo, where they were sneaking through the apartment building. It's almost kind of a very similar kind of thing, a cutscene that slides straight into gameplay. It's like history repeating itself almost, and the gameplay is incredibly brutal. But I guess I know people are saying it's like over the top kind of shock value, but again, it's post-apocalyptic, it's the world they live in. It's all gritty and gross, and everyone's dirty and stinking. They even made like a joke about it in the footage, in the cutscene that they showed. And I guess it's just the brutal nature of like the kill or be killed. Like you have to survive if you're outside of like encampments and like groups that people have established. Obviously, the world's going to be a very dangerous
Well, I think they did a good.
No,
I think they did a good job of kind of contrasting that with like they start off with the dance, right? It's like everyone's happy, they have lights on, and they're, I assume, drinking. It looks like they're having some sort of alcohol or like beverage, and it's like they have this contrast of like this is like obviously a safe area. These people obviously trust each other, some sort of encampment, and then it contrasts with that with like the darkness and the rain and the just brutalness that they showed in that trailer. Like there are some nasty takedowns that she goes through.
It's,
Like it shows that like
it's just pretty much survival of the fittest. I mean,
for sure.
I guess it still shows that the world's not fixed yet. You know, there's these little pockets of human life, but ultimately the world is still broken, you know, and it's still a kill or be killed, dog eat dog apocalyptic situation outside of these very small pockets of life. So,
but even compared to the first game, like it was a huge deal when they could get the power on, right? Like the first game, I mean, I won't spoil it for people, but there's this big part of the story where they find this place that has electricity, and that's like a huge deal.
Sure.
Well, and then they show this trailer, and it's like the lights are all on. They're in it, like it looks like an old church or an old barn of some kind, and they're dancing, and like there's no like armed security guards that you see in the trailer, anyways. Right? Like it's quite contrast compared to even to the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't shown any clickers yet, but I'm sure they'll be in the game. They're in the 2 bits of footage that we've seen so far. It's mainly just been humans that are the enemies, but there will be clickers for sure. There has to be. I mean, the world, like I said, the world isn't cured.
Yeah.
It's still dangerous out there. So, you know, and the clickers are terrifying. In the first game, they are terrifying to be around. It's just the way they twitch and move and the noises they make are really just it's disturbing to be around them. You know, so to see that again would be great.
Sorry, I was just saying I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see like new enemy types.
You know,
I'm sure there will be.
I remember
that they evolve.
in The Last of Us 1, I think there was concept for adding like some kind of like plant dog enemies, but I think they scrapped that idea. So
I'm sure there'll be some new enemies for sure.
You know what?
All right.
You know what I did like about that trailer? One thing, the amount of detail. Like, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but when Ellie was underneath a car, and she was pointing the gun over to a person that was looking underneath, she cocks the gun. Like, she actually does it in the game, and you're like, holy shit, this game is super detailed. And before that, there was like this guy that they use an axe on, and you see all his guts like going out of him, and you can see like which guts are they. It's just like, it's so like spine tingling, but it's so amazing even after.
Well, there's a point in the trailer where she gets shot, and if you watch it back, you can see from the gun of the guy, you see the bullet go from his gun into her shoulder, and she flinches back on that same shoulder. Like, there's that much detail in it that you can watch the bullet go from the gun through her shoulder, and then she grabs her shoulder.
Oh, I didn't.
Like, I don't know, like, that was something I know. Like, I noticed that in the trailer. I'm like, I don't know if I've known that in any other game before. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Reaction to damage.
Like, and like specific damage.
Yeah.
Like, where she gets shot in the shoulder, and then her shoulder, like, that same shoulder.
And then,
Cool.
And then later in that trailer, you can go in between the shelves to like hide and move around, and it was like, holy shit, they're not actual walls anymore. You can actually like move and shimmy around these like these obviously shelves that they're in this store, and it was like, wow, impressive. Yeah.
All right. Well, as we spent enough time on The Last of Us, we could just make a whole episode about The Last of Us and what we noticed. But let's move on. So now we're moving on to one of the games that was personally for me a surprise. I totally didn't expect it. This was at Microsoft's conference. They showed off Devil May Cry 5, and just wow, like what a visual upgrade from like the last couple of games.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Who here has thought that it was gonna be a sequel to the reboot of DMC?
At first, it was hard to kind of tell because of the style of the art style was kind of like quite realistic, and it was really hard to say where it was placed. Even at first, I thought that like they showed they showed Nero.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was Dante, and they were just going down a different art style, making him like
Exactly.
younger, like from DMC, Devil May Cry.
Mhm.
But it turned out to be Nero, who seems to be the protagonist of this game, or at least main protagonist. But yeah, it looks crazy. They've gone for like sort of really quite startling realism, at least on some within the faces, like the characters. The companion that Nero's with, the lady who's driving the van who builds his weapons and all of that. It was like Uncanny Valley. Like, it's really kind of creepy. Like, how good facial animation is becoming now. Anyone else here a fan of Devil May Cry? Nomad? Have you played any Devil May Cry games?
I played the first 3, but I haven't really played the remake or 4.
Okay.
But yeah, this Devil May Cry looks really cool. I'm definitely gonna get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you haven't played 4, so you're not too familiar with Nero, who's like the main character in Devil May Cry 4.
I had no idea who that was.
He was introduced in 4.
Literally the only game I played in the series was Devil May Cry 4, because I watched Devil May Cry 3 and I thought it was like one of the coolest games that I ever played. Or watched, I mean. And I bought Devil May Cry 4 and I loved it. I thought the combat was I like hack and slashers, but it just seemed a little bit more complex than your standard hack and slash. But
yeah, Devil May Cry 3 was really good back in its day. I remember playing it over and over again. I'm a big fan of Devil May Cry. I love all of the games. I've played all the games. Some are obviously better than others. Devil May Cry 2 being the worst. But
I don't think anyone will disagree on that one.
Yeah, we've spoken about it before. It's not great, so just not. We don't talk about Devil May Cry 2, but 1, 3, 4. I'm not overly keen on 4, but I still played it and enjoyed it. DMC Devil May Cry, I really enjoyed. I know people had a lot of controversy around that because the looks and just the sort of reboot in the lore, so to speak. Or at this point, it seems almost like a spin-off or like a what if. Now, seeing as they're going straight from 4 and 5 is a direct sequel to 4, Nero, older Dante in it, and they seem to be continuing Nero's storyline from the trailer as well. So
it's not older Dante, it's Hobo Dante.
It does have a rough-looking beard.
There was a leak before the E3 press event started, where somebody showed the back of what I'm going to assume is the Devil May Cry 5 case, where it shows that you play as Nero, Dante, and some mysterious character named, I think, V, who everyone is already assuming is Virgil.
Well, I've seen the cover artwork for Devil May Cry 5, and it has 3 characters facing away from the camera down a street, and it is indeed Nero in the middle, Dante on the left, and this other character who looks completely different in style. Completely, he doesn't look like your sort of standard Devil May Cry character in terms of a long flowing coat or a sword. They look really different, almost out of place. So yeah, there's a 3rd character in this game, it seems.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I love the music in that trailer so much that I'm listening to it right now.
Yeah, Devil May Cry games always have banging music.
They actually released the full track, I guess, and you can find it online now.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and I'm just listening to it right now. It was such a good trailer. I loved it. I don't know if I'll buy Devil May Cry 5, but I will absolutely be watching the cutscenes because I love that story.
I have a question, though.
Sure.
Was there any demons in that trailer? I didn't see any of the actual... Yeah? I don't...
Yeah, there was plenty of demons.
Right at the beginning, all the police were shooting at them.
Nero was jumping around the van when it was flipping over, shooting at all of them.
I think I was
Yeah, the kind of monsters were coming out of the ground, and all the SWAT team or police or military were shooting at them, and then the van kind of comes through all the chaos, and Nero kind of jumps out of it, And so there are demons, and they showed a massive demon as well that he was fighting, a really big, really huge one.
I don't remember anything.
And then he the giant demon picks up the car, stuffs it in his stomach, and then shoots a fireball back out at Nero.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's when the music actually starts kicking in.
I really like how creative the enemies are in the Devil May Cry games, and It seems as well that Nero's Devilbringer arm has been replaced by in the trailer. It shows that it seems that his arm has been ripped off and taken away because it's like it belongs to a demon, or it's. They didn't really cover exactly in Devil May Cry 4 about it. They didn't really go into it. Nero as a character is really vague in Devil May Cry 4.
They established that I think Nero has something called the Devil Arm, which is something that Dante also has, and it just allows you to tap into like demonic power. And in the Devil May Cry 5 trailer, it showed that whoever you're playing, like this mysterious third character that you play as, is the one that stole it from him.
Oh well, so in Devil May Cry 4, he had the Devilbringer arm, which he used to like kind of grab enemies, almost like a grappling hook, and now he has this mechanical, almost like Metal Gear Solid 5 Big Boss style cyborg arm, which also looks like it can be upgraded or have to it, because it looks like it's kind of like a grappling hook, but I think it also has some other like offensive or maybe even defensive weaponry.
He was able to trigger like a time stop ability on the demons that he was fighting as well. So.
It's going to be fascinating.
I have a feeling he could probably still tap into like the demonic power that his arm used to have. It's just in the mechanical arm now.
Yeah,
sure. What's with every single fifth entry of a series always cuts the main character's arm and replaces it with a robotic one? Star Wars did it. Metal Gear Solid did it. Now Devil May Cry is doing it.
I was literally going to say if you can name something other than Metal Gear Solid, but I guess Star Wars also beats that.
Yeah.
Robot arms for everyone. All right, guys. I guess we can move on then to the next game. Next game was actually announced prior to E3, but we actually saw some more in-engine footage. This is in the Bethesda conference. This is Fallout 76. I didn't watch the Bethesda one because it was on too early as well. But I did see a little bit of footage, so I can't really speak too much about it. More and more details are coming out about Fallout 76. It doesn't seem to be your traditional style of a Fallout game. This seems to be focusing more on like a multiplayer experience, or sort of like almost like a MMO, or basically it's not going to be just your single player by yourself walking around doing missions. Guys, they seem to be changing the direction, or at least just for this game, Fallout, trying something a little different. Nomad, Fallout 76. What's your thoughts?
I actually have never played more than like 2 hours of a Fallout game, so I have no opinion of this game. So I'll pass it to the next person.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
I love this announcement. I love Fallout. I love multiplayer. This just seems perfect. It seems like a light MMO. It's basically just Fallout 4 with multiplayer, which is right up my alley. So I'm super pumped for this game.
Okay. B-Tips, what about you?
If I get started on this, then I'll fill an entire 3 podcasts with how much I love the Fallout series, but I'll just simplify it by saying I'm absolutely when they showed gameplay and all that during the Bethesda press event about Fallout 76, I was jumping in my chair like a monkey. I was just a lot of people bash on Fallout 4, but I thought it was a good game. I mean, it's not going to be as good as Fallout 3 New Vegas, but it was still a pretty good game, and I liked it.
I never played at New Vegas, but I really enjoyed 3, and I really enjoyed 4. Other than the settlement stuff, I really, really liked 4.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was a little disappointed actually, because prior to E3 they announced it. They did one of their sort of please stand by teaser screens for a day, and then they sort of dropped a little trailer. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a remaster of 3 or New Vegas, like sort of how they did remaster for Skyrim a little while ago, and they put it on Switch, and then they gave a new coat of paint for the PS4 and the Xbox versions. I think they gave a little bit more enhancements for the enhanced consoles, and I thought it was going to be more of the same, but for Fallout 3 or New Vegas, and I was hyped for that. But when it turned out to be 76, I was a little disappointed after I found out let me say, I was disappointed it wasn't the remaster. That can still come. That's obviously still on the table. That might happen.
Absolutely.
Which I'm well in for. Absolutely.
If they remaster Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, or even both, I'll probably have a mini stroke.
But I'm a bit on the fence about 76, to be honest. Actually, more over the side of the fence of not really being too interested in it. I mean, I want to. This is not a day one buy for me. First of all, I want to see this game. I want to see people playing it. I want to see the trophy list. I want to see what needs to be required because I am not in online multiplayer when I don't have to be. Fallout for me personally is a single player lone wanderer, to quote the game experience, and that's how I like Fallout. So if this is something that it is always going to be online. Basically, Todd Howard, the head of Bethesda, said this is basically an always online gaming experience, and that's kind of put me off, to be honest.
Well, he also said you can also play the game solo, and you don't have to group up with anybody. You can play the entire game by yourself. The only thing that really throws me off is I don't mind the co-op, and I actually waited. I was hoping Fallout 4 when they announced that. I was hoping that would be co-op because I would love to just go through the Fallout universe with a friend. But
it is strange it's taken them this long to do multiplayer in Fallout. But I guess Fallout is a big game with a lot of stuff going on, so maybe they had to really work on getting all the systems to be implemented and in the right place for what happens when two different human players are interacting with different stuff at the same time. So maybe it's taken them a while to build that or build an infrastructure that can support tons of players at once.
Yeah, but really the only thing that threw me off, and I don't know how it's going to work, but the only thing that's really cutting me away from Fallout 76 is the fact that there are no NPCs in the game.
I read about that.
It's just players, and I don't understand how the quest system is going to work if it's just nothing but human players. So
see, this is why I said I need to wait and see the game, people playing it, look at loads of footage, look at trophy lists, see what the requirements are, see how it actually works when it's out in the hands of the consumer before I even think about buying it. I don't pre-order anything. I rarely buy stuff on day one anyway. But yeah, this is a game I'm definitely going to be holding back on because I love Fallout, but it's a little bit murky at the moment about the details and how the game's going to work. So it's hard to say. So
I'm in the same.
We'll
sorry. I'm a bit in the same boat as you are, Daz. I was excited. Oh, cool! A new Fallout game. It's gonna be amazing. And then I just saw gameplay. And I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so great. It looks so beautiful. There's so many ruins. I actually want to explore at the university or something. And then they said, play with your friends online. And I'm like, no.
No, I have no friends.
No. No. I was like, no. I have to play this online. It was like, nope. I'm gonna back away. Let me see what they have in store. Maybe it's co-op or something. And it's like, yeah, it's co-op, but you're required to be online to play it. And
honestly, if the trophy list will be what tells me if I'm buying that game or not. If it's something like play X amount of missions with the same person, or have a was it get in Red Dead, the original Red Dead Redemption? It's gather a posse and do so many of this, or gather a group, or a fire team, or whatever, or do a raid together, or all those kind of trophies that require a lot of setup. Or that is a turn off for me for video games. So
there are two things I like about that trailer. Was they revealed new enemies, mutations for others. For example, this giant spider that was so fucking scary. And I was like, whoa, they made spiders even scarier than actual Skyrim. And this other enemy, which was a giant bat that basically shouted ultrasonic and broke away some settlements, which you can
that thing was so cool.
Oh yeah,
it looked like a giant bat dragon.
Yeah, and you have to kill it.
The one enemy that there's two enemies in the Fallout games, just 3, 4, whatever, that creep me out the most. Firstly, it's the giant bugs. Any insect, any massive insect in any video games literally makes my skin just crawl. Just the very thought of a mosquito that's larger than a human just it just creeps me out, you know.
I bet.
And
I bet you hated the Cazadors in Fallout New Vegas. Son.
Oh shit! Don't even start like that.
The Cazadors are basically like half fly, half tarantula, half like wasp, I think.
Yeah.
And they inflict all this like poison damage, and I hate fighting them. I really do. They were probably like they were worse than Death Claws in Fallout New Vegas. I hated fighting them.
Although they die for like 2 or 3 hits, but
No, they don't.
No.
If it's a baby Cazador, maybe, but if
Yeah.
it's an adult, then
Oh, an adult, no.
and the second one I hated was the that creeped me out was the they didn't appear in 4, but they appeared in 3. I don't know about New Vegas because I never played it. But the centaurs, you know, they are awful. They're like they've got like 6 legs. They're like got a human sort of upper
they're like
torso
an
and head.
amalgamation of human parts.
Yeah, and like that long tongue, and they kind of like make that weird noise. Oh, they are horrible.
They literally look like a Bloodborne, like a Dark Souls Bloodborne enemy.
Yeah. Basically, they are horrendous to look at, and I was surprised they weren't back in Fallout 4 really, because they would have looked even more creepier in like the newer visuals.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, guys, that'll do for Fallout 76. We've still got loads to get through. So
Exactly.
moving on to another PS4 exclusive, we are talking about Sucker Punch's new game. We got a little peek of it. When was it? When did they show off?
PSX.
Yeah.
E3 2015, I think.
It was PSX.
Oh, PSX.
No, it was last year.
PSX.
Okay, so PSX, they showed off the very first glimpse of Ghost of Tsushima, and we actually got a little bit of gameplay footage in the recent Sony E3. This game looks... it doesn't even look like we're looking at a game. It looks like a CGI movie, like a really stylistic CG movie. Like it's crazy. Like the grass, the foliage. Like in this footage, you follow the main character, and he's on his horse going through these fields, and it's obviously a stormy day. There's a lot of wind going on, and there's just leaves blowing everywhere. There's clouds. The lighting is dark. It's kind of grim, and man, this game looks crazy. And I'm not. I will play this game, but I'm not sure yet if this is going to be a game where I'm going to get it sort of within the launch window. I'm not too sort of keen on games like that are generally set in that kind of era. For example, what's that game? Neo.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of like a Dark Souls-ish kind of like difficulty game set in kind of ancient. Correct me. I didn't play. Is it ancient Japan that Neo's set in?
Yes.
Yes.
It starts off in England, and then it pretty much you play it throughout Japan.
Yeah, the kind of ancient Japan, kind of like samurai or sort of like ancient kind of Asian culture doesn't really kind of grab it for me. Like I'm not really too interested in it. So, but it all comes down to the gameplay, and it does look really cool. It kind of has that. I don't know. I hate to sort of like compare stuff to Dark Souls. It's such like low hanging fruit, but it kind of reminded me of it. You know, again, another sort of Dark Souls-ish kind of game we'll talk about a little bit later. But Justin, what do you make of this gameplay?
When they first announced this game, I was kind of like, looks kind of cool. Looks visually, it was kind of cool. It's not for me. You know, it's not really, like you said, it's not really my time period. I'm not really into like the feudal Japan kind of stuff. Samurais don't really do it for me. That kind of thing. It's like, and then I watched this gameplay from E3. I'm like, okay, like I see what you're trying to do. Like the gameplay looks fun. The story is kind of like, seems like it's going to be kind of forgettable, but it looks good. Like it like you said, it probably isn't going to be like a day one purchase, but it's one of those games that I'll probably pick up at some point when it's 10, 15, 20 bucks that you go back and play.
For me, I kind of group this along with like Detroit Become Human, like in terms of like it, personally speaking, that it's like, yeah, this game is on my radar, but it's like, again, like quite not in the center. It's like quite far out. Like I will get it, but it's not something I'm like, oh yeah, definitely getting this like day one or launch window or whatever. It's like, yeah, I will get to it because I'm not personally my taste. I'm not really sold on it. Again, on the fence, but more sort of I will play it rather than not. Nomad, how about you?
I'm 100% getting this on release.
Okay.
I mean, I love Japanese culture and like Chinese culture as well. Like, anything that involves like ninjas or samurais, like I'm interested. Like, so
Easy.
I'm like the opposite of you guys.
Okay, fair enough. B-Tips, how about you?
I'm a fan of Sucker Punch's work. I love the Infamous games. I played them all to death. I watched the trailer. Like I watched the thing at PSX, and I thought of like, oh, this looks like a neat game. I might take a look at this. And then E3 came and showed off the gameplay, and the game looks beautiful and stunning, and like everything about it just looks graphically like just great. But the gameplay just isn't for me. I mean, I'm probably gonna sit this one out because
It's definitely they're quite far removed from what their previous games. Like obviously there are a couple of Infamous games, and then like way before that, Sly Cooper. They really are trying something completely new, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm uncertain about it. It seems that other than Nomad, a few of us here are uncertain.
That's pretty much me. Like I never played the Sly Cooper games, and people have been telling me to buy them and play them, and I might at one point. But I love the Infamous games, and just going from Infamous to this, it's like I have nothing against the time period. I actually like feudal Japan and like samurais and stuff. Like I'm playing Neo right now, but it's just not a game that I'm probably getting interested in.
Okay. Vec, how about you?
Okay, so I'm a big Sucker Punch fan, and I love their work, and I really think that this is the next step that they're actually taking, and I'm loving all of it. Like, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I like how it moves, and it's just like whooshing around the wind, and it's like blowing each of the grass, and then it was like running around it. And then they went to the combat, and I saw these brutal executions they were actually using, and how arrows work, and you feel like your spine just like it just vibrates, because it's like, holy shit, it's just like I never expected something to react to me like this. And then I went even further into like the trailer, and I saw the parkour system that they used, which was very similar to Sly Cooper's, although it's much more realistic. They had this silent execution type style, which reminds me a lot like Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid, which you infiltrate certain palaces or something like that, and you take down enemies via silent executions or multiple executions at the same time. And
so it seems to borrow from, like, say, Assassin's Creed, for example, a few kind of notes from Assassin's Creed.
Although
parkour, climbing, assassination.
Although I don't say it's gonna be like Assassin's Creed, because they actually introduced like this I don't know if you guys saw it, but when they were going through the rooftops, they had to like go down this shimmy down and reach some of the guards, and the way he executes one of the guards in that area reminded me more of Splinter Cell than Assassin's Creed, even though the parkour system is mainly for Assassin's Creed. And then you reach the final confrontation at the end of the trailer, and you notice that each of the individual pedals are moving around this like giant battlefield, and then a spark of fire that appears from the battlefield starts to individually take down each of the leaves, and it starts to burn. And it's just like it's like majestic, even just looking, not even looking at the combat, just looking at the grass or the petals just turn down and wilt into flames. It's such a beautiful spectacle that makes me say, damn it, Sucker Punch, you outdid yourself. This 5-year gap between Infamous First Light to this is major, and I really want this game, and I really want to play it, and that's gonna be it for me. And it's just gonna be an instant buy. I'm gonna be like, no, man, instant buy now. I want it.
Okay. Well, I hope they put some they put a reference to Sly Cooper in it'd be awesome. Just like a little statue of a raccoon, because they did it in Infamous. Infamous had a lot of like all the Infamous games have a little reference to Sly Cooper in them, which is nice. So it would be nice to continue that. So, guys, on to the next one. We're talking about, again, another PS4 exclusive. We're talking about Death Stranding, and we actually got some gameplay footage, because this game has been a mystery to all of us for a long, long time now, like with the bizarre sort of teaser trailers and like just really, really weird stuff going on, and no one's really been able to kind of piece it together. But the gameplay they showed shows the main character, Sam, Norman Reedus' character. He seems to be basically like a courier. He's traveling across these vast open environments in all kinds of weather, and he's carrying all kinds of different packages on his backpack. Even at one point, he's carrying what seems like a corpse wrapped up in like a tarp. He's got little hovering machines that carry other parcels. So he seems to be someone who travels across this deserted area to deliver stuff. There's the invisible creatures were explained a little bit more. They rapidly age anything that they come in contact with or are around. So they have the ability to manipulate time. That seems to be a prominent danger in this kind of. I don't know. I hate overusing the term post-apocalyptic, but that seems to be what has happened. There's like no one around. This is some big incident happened. I think in one of the trailers it talks about like a crater or an explosion or something. I'm not really sure still what to make of it, to be honest. I mean, I will buy it, but it's again still bizarre. The gameplay seemed to raise even more questions than answer them. So, Justin, is this a game for you?
I could not give less of a shit about this game.
Ah, okay, cool.
I hate the idea of let's give people 4 trailers for a game and not tell them what it is. Like, this could be an MMO. This could be first person. Like, this could be basically anything. I mean, we saw a little bit of gameplay this time, but I mean, we don't know what this game is. We don't know anything about it, and we've seen it for 2 years now already. No, it's not for me. I understand that there's some nostalgia for Kojima, but that's not for me. Not for me.
Okay, fair enough. Absolutely, that's fine. It does seem to have this kind of. Obviously, Kojima is playing with us. He loves playing with the audience in both sort of like teasing a game and announcing a game, and even during playing a game, it's all about messing with sort of the player and their perception. I mean, you remember like the whole Metal Gear Solid 5 reveal, like he dressed up as the bandaged face guy, and he dressed up as a guy with blonde hair at Moby Dick Studios. All of that really weird stuff leading up to the announcement of Metal Gear Solid 5. That went on for a while as well, and it seems to be the case here as well, being really vague and being really, really kind of weird about it. But yeah, I agree with Justin. We still don't know what this game actually is. We see the character walking across environments, and we see more cutscenes, but we didn't see any like combat or any sort of getting into like the actual nitty gritty of the gameplay. Like, he has a gun, he has some kind of assault rifle, so I assume there is going to be some kind of like combat. Maybe it seems, if you looked at this game and said this is Metal Gear Solid 6, you could kind of believe it in terms of like the way the character moves. It does look like a Kojima game for sure. Yeah, so all the art design, all the art direction is the same. If he was still with Konami and everyone was on good terms in an alternate universe where Konami is not Konami and making Metal Gear Solid games, this could believably be another Metal Gear Solid game, at least just basing it on this footage, Yeah. B-Tips, what about you?
I watched every single trailer, even this new one. I saw the gameplay. And if you would have tied me to a chair, point a gun at my head, and tell me what this game was about, you'd have to shoot me. Because I couldn't give you any more than like 3 words as to what I saw and what I believe this game is. It's just pretty much like what everyone else said. Like, I saw Norman Reedus pull out a gun, but he didn't use it. So I don't know what kind of combat there is in this game. I saw him trek across like what I'm guessing is an open world. So
Could be. I mean, it runs on the Decima engine, the same as the Horizon Zero Dawn. So it could be. It probably is open world. I imagine that's what the engine is built for. So yeah.
like Norman Reedus suddenly has a baby, like attached to his suit. I'm guessing powering it in some way.
I don't. It's baffling. We have no idea. We can only speculate. Beck, any input?
Okay, I'm a Hideo Kojima fan. I like his work,
Mm-hmm.
but I really, really don't know what the fuck is going on. And the only thing I do notice is how he labels everything in an interesting pattern. Like, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I noticed when I saw Sam's design in this trailer was this patch that he had in his, I think his arm or his like in his suit that said,
Is it the Bridges one?
yeah, that one that had like the logo was bridges on top. It had a map of the United States, and it had like a spider web that I think the epicenter is like around the East Coast, and it expanded. And it's like, okay, so something must have happened during the East Coast to warrant that logo, or it's maybe like a spy, something like that. That maybe research or investigation. Something screams scientific purposes, and this character Sam is tied to that organization in some capacity.
Possibly. But I had a little think about patch and the what it could mean, and personally, I thought that combined with the new footage that he is some kind of delivery person, the bridges could mean like he is like the whatever he works for, whoever he is, he bridges the gaps between like human settlements maybe, or like he's delivering things to people, supplies. He's obviously taking a body back somewhere, and the spiderweb could just represent a network, maybe the company, or maybe there's more of him, like people like him who walk across the vast, now desolated United States, if it is indeed set in the United States,
Yeah.
basing it on what the patch says. They could be like supply lines, like who act as bridges across from different settlements. That's
Yeah.
my theory, anyway.
That makes sense, actually.
I mean, you could say like pretty much all that, and you could probably be right about it, like about Sam. But like, what about Mads Mikkelsen and Guillermo del Toro? Like, what are they?
They also
bring to the
bridges as
table?
well.
Yeah, they're in the game. I just don't know where.
Well, that's like that's my point. Like that's my point. We've seen at this point we've seen 4 trailers, and we have like the most we can do is speculate. It's like just show us what this game is. Like tell us. Like do something.
Exactly.
I don't know. You're not like, and then maybe for some people this is selling them the game that they don't know what's going on. But for me, this is totally taking away. Like this is not making me want to buy this game in the slightest.
I honestly I'm on the fence about buying it. I probably will if they show us like actual gameplay of like combat and stuff. But if they do nothing but show us another story trailer that gives me nothing, like no answers, nothing, then I'm probably just gonna push it away.
Nomad, have you got any input?
I think this game is beautiful. Obviously, but yeah, I'd still need to see more like the rest of you guys. But also in an interview, Hideo Kojima revealed that Death Stranding might be his last game. But
He's always saying that.
I've heard he treats every game like it's his last game because it could be.
He treats every game like that,
which is awesome. I love. I definitely have faith in him, but I mean, so far I don't know because it's confusing as hell.
This game could definitely. I think if this game doesn't come out maybe next year, I think this game could be a cross-gen, like Metal Gear Solid 5 was available on PS3 and PS4. Metal Gear Solid 5 was. This could be a PS4/PS5 kind of cross-gen window, I feel, if it comes out any later than, say, next year, because we are basing on reports and processor manufacturers and what Xbox has been saying, and also the whole PS4 is in its final cycle kind of article that popped up a few weeks ago. We're going to be seeing new consoles around 2020. Like, they're going to get announced soon. It seems at this E3 they're dancing around it. Like, Microsoft did acknowledge that they're working on the next Xbox. They literally said that. Phil Spencer said that at Microsoft conference. He says, we are working on the next Xbox. Sony on the other hand have kept pretty quiet about it, but no doubt, consoles hardware takes many years to develop. So no doubt they are definitely developing the next PlayStation, and we probably will see it by the end of next year, or it might even be in our hands by some point in 2020. So I think this could bridge the gap, so to speak. I'm good about bridges. Anyway, next one up, we've got Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This is the new game from Software. People who made Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So people initially thought that this game, the teaser from it, was going to be like Bloodborne 2 or something like that, but it turns out to be something a little different. It's kind of Dark Souls-esque, but it's got a new kind of approach to it. So, Nomad, what are your thoughts on this?
I think the gameplay looks really smooth, and the the hook shot that he has, I don't know if it's a hook shot or like a grapple hook or something.
It's his hand.
Oh, it's his hand. All right, that's even
his
better.
His arm is kind of like a weapon.
I'm looking at that right now.
The teaser trailer showed a part of his arm, like the inner sort of mechanical part of his arm, and that was like the teaser, and that's what got people thinking, is this Bloodborne 2? Because look at the kind of gross kind of wooden metal weapon looking thing. It could be something out of Bloodborne, so that's what got people quite hyped about it. But yeah, it's gone for another kind of ancient sort of Asian culture kind of theme to it.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that we're getting 3 Japanese-inspired samurai games, basically. I mean, Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, and Nioh 2. I mean, they're all Japan. I think that's pretty cool, but it's interesting at the same time that they're all happening at once.
So, Vec, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm glad From Software is trying to dissolve his way with the Dark Souls, Soulsborne franchise, because I know a lot of people like that kind of series, but I like that developers try to do other things other than the ones that they actually know they will develop. And series
I think they've done a lot of Soulsborne games in the last just in the last couple of years. It's just been constant for them. So I guess it's nice to step out and do something different. But no doubt they're going to bring over their style from it anyway.
Yeah, but this time they did say it's not going to be an action RPG. They're going to do an action game. Purely no RPG, nothing about builds, nothing. It's going to be just a story, a game, and that's it. And I like that they're doing this direction instead of making builds and stuff like this, because it's already done. It's everywhere. You can play whatever Dark Souls game you want, Bloodborne, whatever. You'll see it. And Nioh's going to be the same one, because Nioh's like a Dark Souls-esque game. That leads into that direction. And Dark Souls basically just recreated a whole genre of games to play, like this hard but fair action game. And From Software, that's not their first game to be developed, and their first and they actually tried to separate themselves from this IP because they want to do other stuff. And I like that they're actually going for that. And I want to see more about Sekiro, but I'm not 100% sold on it. I want to see more. Just I want to see maybe a bit of more gameplay that basically tells me, okay, there's no RPG, there's no upgrade system, there's no buying stuff with souls anymore. Nothing. I want to see like something like it's going to be pure action. This is the weapons you get, this is the weapons you'll use, and that's it.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of Onimusha or Ninja Gaiden. I don't know. Maybe not Ninja Gaiden because there's special abilities and stuff, but
yeah,
it definitely looks
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've no interest in it, to be honest. I'm not really a fan of the like Dark Souls, or I played Bloodborne because it was free, and there's going to be aspects of that in it. And like I said before about Ghost of Tsushima, like it's not really my thing. So yeah, probably a pass for me. Is there anyone else?
I'm on the fence about it. I saw the gameplay and I thought it was like, oh, this just looks like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but like just the fact that it's the same kind of time period as Neo, it's just I'd rather just go and play Neo, honestly.
Yeah. All right, cool. On to the next game, and this one I am personally very excited for because this is going to be so good. There's so much footage come out of it in the last couple of days, and my God, it looks good. This is the Resident Evil 2 remake, and this was a big surprise for me. I didn't watch the Sony one, but when I woke up the next morning and saw a trailer for it, I just instantly just had to watch it, got through it, and holy shit, like, wow. It's like, it's built on RE Engine, which is Resident Evil 7's engine. It's based on Resident Evil 2, of course. It has the setting for it, the basic story of it, but they said they're also going to expand on it a little, change a few things. But it's also got the gameplay of Resident Evil 4. It's taking 3 excellent Resident Evil games and combining them and refreshing them into this new product. And just watching the gameplay I've watched from streams, some even like GIFs that have been on Twitter of like stuff going on, it just looks incredible. Just like, the damage you can do to zombies, like the physical damage, like shooting them. You take chunks off of their face and head. The swiping them with knives causes actual like gashes on their bodies. You can blow their limbs off, and there's so much to explore. It's dark. It's narrow corridors. This is basically Dead Space. This is what made Dead Space, the first Dead Space, so good. The kind of claustrophobic small corridors, the torchlight. You can only see in the circle that the torchlight creates. It's very dark and very disorientating. Like when you get grabbed by a zombie, all the camera all spins around and you get kind of really confused on where you are, and the camera gets right up close. You can see the zombie like properly bite on, or you can play as Claire as well. We haven't seen footage of that yet, but same kind of thing. Just incredible. Like the character models, the facial animation, it's just stunning. And this game is going to be so good. And as you can probably tell from my voice, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. Hell, I'm even playing a Resident Evil game currently. I'm just so hyped for it. And this comes out in January next year, and this is going to be like one of my first, like, definitely day one buy games of next year. Guys, hopefully you share my enthusiasm for this game as well. Vec, go on.
I'll go. First of all, I'm gonna wait until Resident Evil 3 remake. Thank you very much. I like Resident Evil 3. I like it. It had a very interesting ending to it, and I really love how it plays out. And I don't know about Resident Evil 2, because Resident Evil 2 is that one game I enjoyed, but I didn't actually like heavily enjoy. Like I really, really am passionate about. But I will say, Resident Evil 2 had a really stunning gameplay, looks very good, looks very fucking promising, and I'm glad they actually are going to address some of the issues that Resident Evil the original release had. I'm glad they're actually going for fixing some story elements so it makes more sense. It actually adds, gonna re-add some of the actual cheats they used in Resident Evil 2, like the tofu, where you could actually play as a big lord of tofu, which I thought it was hilarious at the time, but I don't think it's my cup of tea in terms of Resident Evil games. But
well, it's good that they're adding Fourth Survivor, which is also like a mini game in the original Resident Evil 2, where you play like kind of like the Umbrella kind of SWAT team member, and you have to get from the underground lab to the very top of the police station while surviving in a time limit. You have to basically extract the sample of the G virus. That was a mini game that unlocked after you beat the game in Resident Evil 2, and also Tofu, which was an unlockable character. I think it was for Fourth Survivor, or it might have been like another mercenary style mini game, but I'm pretty sure it was Fourth Survivor or something similar, where he was just a block. He was a big rectangular block of tofu, of white tofu, And he had a knife, and he had floating Rayman style hands. It's just the gloves, just the hands floating. And it was kind of like a joke, but it became a thing in Resident Evil. And that's now included as well, which is absolutely awesome. It's like fan service as well as a remake. But you said, Vec, like, it's fixing some issues or whatnot, but it's like a completely new, different game. Like, obviously, Resident Evil, the classic 1, 2, and 3, you had the fixed camera angles, your pre-rendered environments, and your character would move and the camera would just cut. And this is over-the-shoulder third-person shooter like Resident Evil 4, so it's not just going to be fixing issues. This is going to be introducing almost completely new aspects, because one of the designers on the stream or some audio I heard said that stuff is going to be in there that's from the original game, but maybe in different places, or like, to keep it fresh, which is great. So like everyone's saying like, the liquor bit in Resident Evil 2 was like the bit that terrified me the most. Like I don't think this is going to, from gameplay I saw, the liquor doesn't even appear in the traditional place it did in Resident Evil 2, the original. It's going to come in somewhere different. So there's going to be fresh jump scares in this game. It's not going to be like, I know Mr. X is going to come in this part of the police station, or the liquor's going to jump through the window here. This all looks like new stuff. It's been rearranged. And they've also added new systems as well. In one of the gameplay demos I saw, you can actually now board up windows with blocks of wood that you find around the police station. So when you come back to an area through backtracking, anyone who's played a Resident Evil game will know that there's plenty of backtracking to do in those classic games to go and find key items. When you often go back to an area, zombies will come through the window or a different enemy will spawn. But it looks like now you can proactively board up open windows to stop zombies from coming back into the building, which I think is awesome, So B-Tips, what about you? Are you hyped for this game?
I couldn't be more on. I couldn't be more on board the hype train as if I was the one conducting. I grew up on Resident Evil 1 on the PS1, and I just played all of them since then. I loved 1, 2, and 3. I absolutely adored 4. I loved 5, despite everyone hating on it. I was mad about 6, and I loved 7. And just the fact that it's taking pretty much like all the good stuff about Resident Evil 7, 4, and like the original trilogy. Everything about the game, I'm so excited for it. Resident Evil 2 is by far like my favorite Resident Evil game to date. And I just can't wait to re-experience that in a new graphics engine, new gameplay, just new details, new enemies probably.
It is definitely a fresh take on the game. I mean, just from some of the demos, the stuff that happens in that game that didn't even happen in Resident Evil 2. Like in the gameplay, you there's a cop that you try and save in the gameplay where you're trying to pull him out from underneath a garage style door, and you can hear enemies on the other side, and he doesn't make it. That's not even in the original Resident Evil 2 at all. So they said this game is basically like, how to put it, almost like Resident Evil 2, the original, is the foundation of this game, but they've built basically new stuff on top of it. So it's going to be a completely fresh take, which is awesome. It's fantastic. And I agree. I'm absolutely on the hype train.
Just Lickers, Hunters, just Mr. X, William Birkin. I can't wait to see all of them.
It's going to be so good. How about you, Justin?
I've always had a big respect for Resident Evil games. I like them. I've played a couple hours of a few of them, but I am a wimp. So I have never really gotten too far into them, just because I'm a scaredy cat. So it's probably something I might try here or there, but it's not something that I'm super diehard ready to go and jump into.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. Nomad?
I remember playing Resident Evil 2 when I was younger. It definitely got me into the zombie type games. But seeing how more realistic it is now, I didn't play Resident Evil 7 because the same reason as Justin. It looks scary as hell. And I watch my friend play it in the background when I'm playing something else, just because I can't focus on it. Man, I would have nightmares if I played that game. Especially if you played it in VR. Wow.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, even though, I completed that game twice before trying it in VR, even VR still gave me jump scares as well. So, yeah, Resident Evil 7 was pretty scary. It being in first-person perspective puts you even deeper into the game, when you play third person. There's a little bit of disconnect from the character because you can see the character, but when you're first person, you're closer to the game, so to speak. So it was really scary to have like a first person Resident Evil. But I think the sort of general consensus here is that it's obviously been well received, and a few of us here are very, very hyped about it, and others are sort of like maybe, and others obviously horror is not their cup of tea. But generally speaking, it seems that Resident Evil 2 Remake has been getting some really good feedback from just websites, Twitter, social media, etc., and a lot of people are excited for it. So
I think Capcom's on a roll.
Can I just say one thing? I cannot wait for the giant alligator boss fight.
Right.
Yeah. That was always a scary one.
And this is how we end the Capcom Redemption arc with 4 games all coming out one year, like a really good gap in between all of them. I've been surprised that.
Is this the year of Capcom?
Yeah.
It's like it was Capcom that released Marvel vs. Capcom, right? The Infinity one.
Yeah, but the problem
And
is,
so it's like that was like a shit stone in like a sea of just glorious games that are coming out now.
yeah, and now that
Capcom seem to be doing well recently.
Monster Hunter did well.
Oh, absolutely.
Mega
Absolutely.
Man 11 is gonna be amazing, and Resident Evil 2 is coming next year. So, by the way,
4 days before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, Daz, are you gonna pre-order this game? Like, actually gonna pre-order, or actually you did it?
No, I don't pre-order games. I just go in and buy them on day one. I've never had the trouble of walking into a game store or any shop that sells games and just getting the game I want on the first day. It's never been an issue for me. So I don't bother pre-ordering, to be honest. I don't see the need for it. I know there's not going to be a shortage. So yeah.
I'm absolutely going to pre-order it just because most of the time, like especially when it came to like the GameCube back when I was little, I had to pre-order a copy of Zelda Twilight Princess just because there was only like 3 left in the store.
Wow.
Yeah,
so if I didn't pre-order it, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Anything within that month window of Kingdom Hearts 3 is delayed for me. Sorry.
It's going to be a busy first 2 months of the year, especially February. So much coming out at the end of February. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's something coming out every month. There's something huge coming out.
Let's move on to the next one. This is a smaller one, so we can get through this quicker. This is Captain Spirit. This is the another sort of Life is Strange related game. This is within the Life is Strange universe. This game is going to be free. I feel that this is going to be the next Life is Strange for sure. It's like almost like a teaser episode. It seems that you play as a kid, and he's sort of like in the Life is Strange games, the first one and second one, there's always like character. In the first game, you've got like the time manipulation. In the second game, not so much supernatural dialogue based. In this one, it seems that the main character, this kid, has got quite a vivid, wild imagination, and it seems that you basically play his playtime, like him imagining him being a superhero or being on another planet in space. It looks fascinating. They've just announced it just seems to be just one standalone episode, although more could be announced. But I still think this is like a prelude to something bigger coming down the line.
The kid's gonna get superpowers.
So who's interested?
I'm gonna bet on it. The kid's gonna get superpowers somehow.
Oh, for sure. I think.
You think?
Guaranteed. For sure.
They're setting it up because the kid has so much vivid imagination. You see how he's like coping with something because there's some undertones, especially when you see the father figure. It's like, this looks interesting because the father figure seems to be disconnected by his son. He allows his son to be whatever he wants to be.
They're obviously suffering from loss because in the trailer they mention the mother, like how they miss her, like how he misses. So obviously they've lost the mother. He's lost. This is obviously his coping mechanism. The dad seems to be not coping very well because in a bit the kid says something about like basically notes that quite early in the day, so he's obviously not coping very well. He's now a single parent, obviously struggling. The the house doesn't look particularly well kept, you know. So the kid does have a coping mechanism of going into his own imagines to be like Life is Strange is obviously the other games are set around like that happen to people. So yeah, there always seems to be like a bit of a Max. She has a like photographer trying to live her life, and the second focuses more on like Chloe and like how she's getting through life. And this seems to be the same kind of thing. This seems to be like the throughout all of them. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to play it. I really enjoyed the last two games, and this one's a free download anyway, so no reason not to. Anyone not particularly interested in it? I'll take that as a no then. Silence. No, I guess everyone's in for it then.
This is one of the more exciting games, most exciting game. I love Life is Strange. I love Life is Strange Before the Storm. This game, in the same universe, made by the same people. Man, count me in.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't played Before the Storm, the prequel to Life is Strange, but I did play Life is Strange, and I got the Platinum Trophy for it. I loved every single second I played. So
cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited for Captain Spirit.
Sure. All right, then we're all in agreement. Then I guess we can move on to the next one. This one was shown at E3's conference. This was a little kind of gem that appeared in it, which
EA.
Sorry, my mistake. EA, the EA E3 conference.
The E3 conference.
The EA shit show, as it's called.
Well, the EA conference didn't have exactly the best of stuff in it, personally speaking. A lot of it was actually pretty boring. I'm not really that interested in what EA offers because I don't really care for sports games. That's just my taste. Never been interested. So when they started doing the FIFA stuff, the basketball stuff, I just zoned out basically. The Star Wars Battlefront stuff, again, not interested in it because of that, and the Battlefront, not interested in it personally speaking. The only thing that really shined for me was that really nice looking indie game Sea of Solitude. Just don't really know what it's about. It kind of seems like it's I don't know, it's hard to kind of explain. We've seen games like this before, like kind of like Rhyme, when a person's on like a personal journey. And Journey as well is another one. I was
going to say Journey.
It kind of reminds me of that. You look like some kind of shadowy kind of demon or something, or maybe it's a visual representation of sorrow, sadness, pain. You know, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it. And you're in a boat and you're exploring what looks like ruins, but it could all be metaphorical, you know, or symbolism. So, but either way, these kind of games really grasped me. These are the kinds of games I'm always really interested to play. And visually it looks really nice too. So anyone here not interested in it? No? Okay, cool. So
I'm interested. The only thing I'm not like, it reminds me a lot like Wind Waker from GameCube and Wii U. It has that feeling like you're in this sea, obviously Sea of Solitude, in this boat type area, and you're looking into like, I think it was a town or something, and you're exploring around that area, and it reminds me a lot of Wind Waker for some reason, because Wind Waker has this boat where you go through island, this vast sea, and you go through each one's scouring the land, and it feels like this is gonna be like that, but with minus the RPG sense. You know,
it has a kind of cel-shaded style to it, the environments at least. So I guess I can see the connection to Wind Waker for sure.
Yeah.
But so is everyone kind of on? So like you're sort of on the fence then?
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be like a really good game, but it's had me skeptic. Like, I would play this if I had the time, and so far, I don't think I'm gonna have the time for it. So.
All right, fine then. B-Tips, interested?
Yes, I am absolutely this was the only game that I actually cared about from the EA press event.
Yeah, me too. I think this is going to be like a kind of 15, 20 kind of dollars kind of digital game, I feel.
Yeah.
Kind of a bit like Faye that came out a little while ago.
I mean, the fact that it looks kind of like Rhyme kind of brings me into it. Like, I heard. I don't remember where I read this, but apparently, Sea of Solitude, like the girl is like struggling with her own like It was like she's struggling with something, which is what's causing her to look like that, like monstrous kind of form.
Sure.
And
Okay.
she's like, I think she has amnesia or something like that, and she has to like try and piece together like what happened and how to cure herself. So
it's going to be an interesting game for sure. Justin?
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, this game kind of seems right up my wheelhouse. Those kind of like journey rhyme style games. It kind of seems like the perfect PS Plus game.
Yeah.
Like one of those, like,
I'm sure it will be at some point.
so
Okay.
it's not one that I need to go out and buy right away, but it'll be something I play and probably love at some point.
Yeah, I agree with that. Nomad, you got anything to add?
I honestly just watched the trailer during when you guys are talking, and I mean, it looks all right. I mean, it looks cool, but I mean, I'm not like necessarily gonna buy it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. Fun. Okay. Moving on then. We're going to an Xbox One now. I know we're mainly a PlayStation podcast, but we're just covering stuff on E3 that we're interested in. Nomad, this was one that you were interested in, isn't it? It's Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is anyone else excited or gonna play Forza Horizon or played any Forza? Like,
Man,
I don't
before
have an Xbox,
before I
and
get into it, like,
man, I love
I don't have an Xbox, and I don't play racing games, so I'm out.
Nomad.
Yeah, I'm out.
Nomad.
I
Fold.
I honestly couldn't care less about racing games, so count me out.
Man,
All right,
It's all you know, Matt. It's all you.
Okay, man, I love the new Burnout game. Wait, it's not Burnout? Oh, okay. Bye-bye, folding. Bye.
Alright,
The
so
floor is yours then, Nomad.
alright, so I'll take this. Forza Horizon 4 is the next like arcade style racing game coming to Xbox and PC. I don't have an Xbox. I have an upgraded PC, so every Xbox exclusive is on PC now. So if you have a upgraded PC, you can play any like Forza, the new Gears of War that was announced, the new Halo that was announced. And I plan on playing all of them on PC. But Forza in particular is just like the last few games have been flawless. Like it's completely open world. You can do like every race with your friends or by yourself.
It's kind of like the Crew, isn't it? Sort of like an open world, just meet up people.
But like the tuning and everything is way more precise. Like you can tune all the vehicles. Like you can change engines and stuff like that. There's supposed to be way more cars in this one, which looks really exciting. But yeah, this is a definite pre-order for me.
It does look really incredible. It's set in the UK as well, isn't it? British countrysides and such.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
historic Britain. Yeah.
Historic Britain.
But yeah, I mean that's basically all I have to say about it. It's a definite buy for me. But we can move on from there. The next game is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. We can. I know Vect is very excited about that.
Everyone.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit of Smash.
Everyone.
Yeah, that was a really good announcement. I've never really played Smash, or like I have a little bit. I've dabbled, but not really that interested in Smash in general. But this has piqued my interest when. In that bit in the trailer for Smash Bros. Ultimate, when Snake appeared, I was like, "Oh, Snake, fantastic! That's awesome! Like he's back again, from his last appearance." But then it said everyone, like literally every character that's ever appeared in a Smash game is in this game, and that, like I said, I don't appreciate
blows my mind.
Smash but it blew my mind.
That's literally like 65 characters.
Yeah,
I think that's honestly the biggest roster I've ever seen in any fighting game.
Oh my god!
Not to mention the big kind of like the biggest crossover roster as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finally convinced to get a Switch now. Like there we go.
I played Super Smash on the N64, and I played Melee. I played some of Brawl. I never touched the fourth one, like for the Wii U and the 3DS, but I might buy this one for the Switch. I mean, it has pretty much all the characters that I know of. It has 3 different links. It has, I mean, they just added Ridley as a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Echo
They just
characters.
added Daisy as what they call Echo characters, which are basically like shadow characters.
Yeah.
Like how Pit and Dark Pit are basically the same. So
Yeah.
It's really impressive. They've like gone in and they've tweaked and changed it, like everything. They've like basically tuned up every character and whatnot. And like I said, I'm not previously interested, but I think I might actually buy it. And because just what a place to start, for someone like me who would be to Smash. Why not start a game that literally has everyone in it?
And
So it'd be fascinating to unlock everyone.
And the fact that they literally brought pretty much all the good stuff back about like Super Smash, like the fourth one, where you could play. It's like 8 players online, and you could play with the Mii fighters still. And they're considering bringing fighters like online, so you'll be able to play with your own character.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this right now. Masahiro Sakurai flipped the middle finger and said, "Don't ever ask me anything ever again," because that's literally what he just did in the actual trailer.
I've seen that meme. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's like, don't ever ask me about anything. Like, I'm just curious if they're gonna add like new fighters. That's all I really I'm interested in. They probably added Ridley in because of popular demand, but
yeah. They said, first thing they said at the very beginning of the presentation when they showed the character roster, one of the things he says like, we will not add more new characters because we're adding everyone in, so it's gonna be very difficult to fill slots. However,
I think he said something along the lines of, we're probably planning on not adding any new characters, but we'll see.
Yeah,
pretty much.
They'll add some new characters, I know, but they'll mainly just gonna do Echo fighters this time to more popular demand. Like maybe I'll see Shadow as a playable character in that game because Shadow is basically Sonic moveset. But and they both use the same Chaos Emeralds to like zip around the entire stage, which I
would like to see Solid Snake, his Echo character, being Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 with his camo on.
Or Raiden. But Raiden would be different because he actually has a sword.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. But I would see Big
Maybe
Boss.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Raiden.
Yeah, I do like that they actually decided to like shorten the time between Final Smashes and rework some Final Smashes to make it so it's straight to the point.
Yeah, pretty much all the characters got to work around, like whether it's changing up their Final Smash or changing up how their movesets work.
Yeah, so it doesn't
they just customize. Like I don't think it's all the characters, but they changed up a lot of them.
Yeah.
Still no playable Waluigi though. He's just an assist trophy.
I'm not gonna lie. It bummed me out when Bomberman was an assist trophy because I was like, if you wanted any character to be like in that game, it would have been Bomberman.
Yeah, but now he's.
But they definitely covered most of it, though. I mean, definitely got the right name for it. Ultimate, jeez, that bit of the stream just went on for so long. Like I will say, it got a little bit boring because it just didn't seem to want to stop. But it was still impressive.
I honestly think that was 75% of their press event was just that trailer or just that entire showcase.
That presentation was 40 minutes long, just the Smash Brothers segment. It was 40 minutes long, and I've watched multiple reaction videos about it. I've seen the Nintendo NYC headquarters. They had a room filled with Smash players, and everyone was watching the Nintendo Direct, and you could hear screams right there. It's like people say, sword, 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 or nerf, 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 when they saw Bayonetta. Nerf, nerf, nerf. It's like, you can hear the passion in these characters, and they say, really, really, and...
Yeah, people were going crazy. I saw some like footage of streamers losing their shit on their streams, and it's just... People love Smash. People absolutely love Smash.
Someone broke a shelf in one of the streams.
Yeah,
I saw that one.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Hilarious. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think I'll probably get it. It's like recently with like say Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze that I bought for Switch. Like ultimately, I didn't actually like it. I ended up trading it back in, but I gave it a go. I took a chance on it, and I think I will take a chance on Smash as well. Even though I'm no good at fighting games and I've never played, even though it's not like a traditional fighting game, I would still class it as like a game that requires fighting skill. Yeah, I'd give it a go. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, and the music sounds amazing. And especially people are saying that the main theme of this game sounds better than the Brawl theme, and I have no idea what to say about that because they're so different games, and the soundtracks are gonna be amazing. The remixes, holy shit, the remixes! Oh, I'm just thinking about it. It hurts. Anyway,
all right, okay. Let's move on to our next one, and this was at the end of Microsoft's conference. This one took a lot of people by surprise. The way the Microsoft conference ended was pretty clever. It kind of like all the screens kind of shut down and looked like it was being hacked into. And then finally we got to see some footage of Cyberpunk 2077, the CD Projekt Red's new game they've been working on.
Yeah.
And people have been losing their minds over it ever since. We believe that the footage shown was actually in-engine, which makes a lot of people believe, including myself, that this is probably going to be a next-gen game. I don't think this is probably going to be on the current hardware that we've got. It just looks too much, The game looks insane.
They already confirmed that this was going to be on current gen stuff.
Oh, really? They have?
Wow.
Yeah, they said they were coming out for PS4 and Xbox One.
Huh.
Oh, really? Wow.
Or they were aiming to, anyways. I don't know if they're... I mean, who knows what actually happens, but that's what they said they're aiming for.
According to the Reddit articles I've been reading, they've been saying that CD Projekt Red already confirmed it. So
Yeah.
Oh. This seems like it could possibly be cross-gen as well. The footage we saw was incredible. I don't think that footage we saw was running on what we've currently got.
Well, it wasn't native gameplay, I don't think. It was definitely
An in-engine render.
Yeah. That's what I would guess anyways.
When I saw that trailer, just before like the introduction to that trailer, I thought it was gonna be Watchdog for some reason. Not 2077. It was like weird, and then it says like red. I was like, okay, cool. And it says like, oh, it's gonna use the trailer, and it says like wah pa 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 pa, and it was like, it says CD Projekt Red. It's like, oh.
When I saw the password was red, I automatically knew it was Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this game. Loads of people have been hyped for it for a long time. I've not played The Witcher, not really sort of interested in kind of like fantasy RPG. I know everyone praises it like mad, but it doesn't really interest me. But I don't know what to say about Cyberpunk 2077. It's more attractive to me because it's sci-fi. I'm more interested in sci-fi genre than I am fantasy. So, I'm more likely to be interested in playing this than I would say The Witcher. But again, it's too early to tell for me. I need to see gameplay and such. So that's my 2 cents. Who else is like actually hyped about it?
I mean, I'm kind of hyped for it, but I still don't. I need to know more and see.
It's early days.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I need to see more.
Like the cutscene the cutscene literally did nothing for me. Like I need to see actual gameplay. People were jumping out of their seats and cheering. I would have just been sitting there like, can I see gameplay, please?
Yeah, I guess what they showed was more of a tonal piece to kind of set the setting, to sort of show what we're looking at.
Basically, that trailer was essentially Death Stranding for me in the sense that they could see, like, they showed me the trailer, like, I saw a little bit of gameplay, but it did nothing to, like, convince me to buy the game.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's strange that it's adapted from a tabletop game called Cyberpunk 2020. Like, it's set 57 years later. Like,
It's still
really
just
weird.
Just going off on a little bit of a tangent here, just because I forgot we haven't actually added this to our list, but you mentioned Watch Dogs earlier, which reminded me of this. Prior to E3, obviously, we had a little bit of a tease because of the next Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that it leaked like a key ring that had like a Spartan helmet on it, and in the packaging said Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then that kind of seemed to have prompted Ubisoft into just sort of announcing it. They just showed a little bit of, they said like sent out a tweet and it said like see you at E3, had a tiny bit of footage of it, and then they showed it at E3 and it looks awesome. It looks basically like Origins Plus, if that's how I could describe it. It's just Origins. It's kind of the same systems, the same UI, the same kind of like light RPG elements, but this time it has dialogue options and such. The reason I just mentioned it, what reminded me of that was when you said Watch Dogs, and what I thought honestly Ubisoft was going to do like a new thing and be like, 1 year Watch Dogs, 1 year Assassin's Creed, but it seems they're just going Assassin's Creed now, and once again, or they took a break to release that not so great film. I honestly thought we'd see some more Watch Dogs, because Watch Dogs 2, I don't know, commercially speaking, I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was fantastic either, but I really liked that game. I thought it was really good, and I was hoping we'd get like a Watch Dogs 3, but I'm happy with Assassin's Creed.
I think what everyone has stated is that Watch Dogs 2 was pretty much like the better of Watch Dogs. Like, better story, better gameplay, just better environment.
I'll have to take your word on that, because I didn't play the first one. It looked boring to me.
I played the first one, and it bored the hell out of me for various reasons. But Watch Dogs 2 looks pretty fun, and one of these days I hope to buy it.
It's a good game. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, like I said, it didn't come up, but I just thought I'd just jam it in here at this point anyway. But I'm interested in it for sure. I won't be buying it day one, but my girlfriend probably will, because she's a huge Assassin's Creed fan. And I've only just really jumped on the Assassin's Creed bandwagon anyway with Origins. At the start of this year, I platinumed Origins in January, and I probably won't be jumping on Odyssey straight away anyway. I feel it's a little too soon for me personally. I need a little bit more time, because I spent a lot of hours on Assassin's Creed Origins to get the Platinum Trophy, so I need to get sort of good and hungry, so to speak, for the next one. But anyone else interested in Odyssey?
I honestly, I'm excited to play Origins, because I haven't played it yet. But Odyssey, I can't put it in me to buy that game. I mean, Origins was, the start, I guess the start of the Assassins and stuff, the beginning of it all.
Sure,
but
yeah.
Nothing in the Odyssey trailer told me that this was an Assassin's game.
Yeah, I did notice that. It basically could just be an RPG set in ancient Greece. There was nothing particularly Assassin's Creed-y about it, other than maybe a few tiny elements here and there. In a few scenes, they had the hoods up, or like assassin-style hoods. But yeah, it seems to be, at least from this trailer, they're not leaning too heavily on the assassin stuff.
It pretty much just told me that Ubisoft should probably just stick to making games that aren't called Ubisoft. I mean, they're only calling it Assassin's Creed to sell. Aside from the fact that they showed off a Weapon of Eden, nothing in the game they showed so far told me that this is an Assassin's Creed game.
I'm gonna go with your because one thing that they introduced in that trailer was that a playable female character as well as a male character, and it's so out of left field to Ubisoft. Although they have been teasing it with playable characters like that, but not to the extent so that you can choose between which one you want to start with. It's so weird.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate had both the male and female assassins, but you didn't have to pick.
Yeah, this one, you have to pick. It's like, oh, you want to be a boy or a girl? It's like, wow, this is Pokemon all over again. Thank you, Professor Oak. But
I like it though. I think it's cool, and I honestly don't care about the assassins backstory or lore. Origins only touched upon it very, very gently, very lightly, and that I was fine with it, because prior to Origins I hadn't played any Assassin's Creed games at all. I knew of the backstory. Like I said, my girlfriend's a big fan, so I knew some about it, but it didn't affect my enjoyment. I loved Assassin's Creed Origins. That game was so good, and the fact that it went light on the Assassins was good for me, because being new to the series, I didn't have to know all this years of backstory to enjoy it. I was just, here I am, here's where I am, here's what I've got to do, the motivation, and just go out there and kill people and level up and get better weapons. And it seems to be the same here for Odyssey as well, because I looked at some of the gameplay and the UI is identical to Origins, other than it seems slightly different because it's Greek, but yeah, it's basically the same. Even the menus and the UIs are very, very similar, and that's awesome. If this is the direction they're going, I'll stay with it for now, but chances are they'll probably do it to death. They'll probably wear us all down with it all over again, and probably have to take a break somewhere in the future.
See, that's
basically
I feel like that's the problem I have with Assassin's Creed games. Is they drop the further away they push from the Assassin's Templar storyline, it's just the further away. Like, I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins obviously has assassins in it, as is the origins to the whole thing, which makes it a great game. But Black Flag pushed away the assassin stuff in favor of the pirates. Like, Odyssey isn't really telling a story of assassins, more or less, the story of Spartans. And it's just Assassin's Creed 3 had the Revolutionary War in favor of the Assassins and Templars, so it's just... I feel like if a game isn't talking about Assassins and Templars, then it's just not really a good Assassin's Creed, in my opinion, anyway.
Sure, I can understand that. Anyone else want to add anything?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think we
Nomads, Justin, you good for Assassin's Creed?
I'm good on Assassin's Creed. I have no interest.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, then let's move on then. We've actually got two here combined into one topic. We've got Call of Duty and Battlefield as well. So I am personally not interested in either. Does anyone want to take the lead on this one? Any input from anyone?
Like, I'll take the reins on Call of Duty because I have no interest in Battlefield. Aside from the fact that it's in World War II, which I like, but the only real thing, like, I don't like Call of Duty multiplayer. I'm not interested in it. It's just fucking. I almost swore there for a sec. It's just generic, like, PvP to me. But the fact that they're adding in a battle royale is exciting to me. And just the fact that I like Fortnite. I played a lot. I like the battle royale aspect to it. I'm hoping Black Ops 4 actually, does a good job at it, kind of like PUBG style. But what I'm
it definitely seems to be the recurring theme recently. Everyone's jumping on the Royale bandwagon.
Yeah, Battlefield 5 is going to have a battle royale mode. The only thing I'm really interested in is the fact that there's going to be, like, they're extending on the zombies storyline, because that's what the Treyarch Call of Duty games, they always have like a zombies mode in it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that game type. I love the story that they're trying to tell, and I that's mostly what I'm going to be putting my time into is the zombies. So.
All right, cool. Who wants to take the Battlefield?
Well, I put it on the list. It's not too much to really talk about. If you like Battlefield 1, this looks exactly the same, except it's World War II instead of World War 1. It's the same single-player style games where they're in vignettes, little stories at the same time. Both games got Battle Royale, both games... I mean, if you like Call of Duty and Battlefield, this is more Call of Duty and Battlefield. There's not a whole lot to say outside of that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, fair enough.
The only thing I'm going to say is, like, Call of Duty 3 is free right now on PS... For PS Plus members.
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops
3, yeah.
Yeah, Black Ops.
So pick it up. That's it. I'm not
and they brought back a couple of the old school maps if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
it's like I love Call of Duty, but it's more
of the same.
Call of Duty. It's more of the same. I mean, B-Tips here call it generic multiplayer, but the reason it's generic is because they're the ones that started it.
Pretty much,
so,
I know.
So, I mean, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's more of the same. There's not a whole lot to say.
I'm excited for the multiplayer, but the zombies is... I think there's too much zombies. But, I mean, it's the same amount of multiplayer, basically, so... I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So
okay, all right then.
Okay, let's move
Well,
on.
let's push on then. The next one on the list is Control. I personally didn't actually see this one. I've watched like a tiny bit of footage. This is from Remedy, isn't it?
Remedy
Yes.
505, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Vec, do you want to lead the way on this one?
Yeah, okay. So I saw Control, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Because this is from the Sony E3 conference, and I was like, this is very odd to put in like this conference of all things. And it looks so cool because it basically tricks your mind. It's made by the same people that made Quantum Break, but I think it's just Quantum Break without the Quantum Break IP, which is amazing. And one of the things I saw was like how it was going to handle, and I saw how, weird and different it was, that it really piqued my interest. It's like, yes, I would actually pick this one up because it's that one game out of everything that looks so out of place, and I will just want to reach right there, right then and there, and pick it up because it has so many variables. It could be anything at that point because even though it's a third-person shooter, it had like some weird-ass sequences with buildings and stuff. Like it was distorted and moving around. It just like fascinates me, and I really want to see more of it. So I'm gonna be in the lookout for this game. If it comes out, I'm gonna buy it, play it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I really hope I'm gonna enjoy it. But I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think?
Cool.
Nomad, big tips. Okay, Justin.
I think it looks interesting. I'm definitely have my eye on this game. But it's not a day one buy for me because I mean it's enough. But I definitely think I hope it turns out well, and I mean I'll definitely buy it down the road.
Yeah, I'm with Nomad on that. Basically, exactly what he said. Same thing. I don't really know too much about it, but yeah, I'll give it a chance.
I think the same thing that it's just pretty much like Quantum Break without. I mean, it's made by the same people that made Alan Wake, which I liked. I mean, I never played Quantum Break, but I did play Alan Wake, and I enjoyed that. So, I mean, I probably won't buy it on day one, but maybe I'll like wait until the price goes down and then buy it.
Yeah.
Like I have to see reviews and more gameplay on it, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's no live action TV series to go along with it.
Hopefully not. But,
Yeah, that was with Quantum Break, sure.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right then. Yeah, a bit sort of on the fence, a bit vague that one, but okay. All right, well moving on then. Next one we have is the Division 2. The Ubisoft one, they showed a bit of gameplay. They did that awful fake gamer narration / voice chat. Why do Ubisoft always do this? It's the worst. It just
like
nobody talks like that.
Just horrible role play. I hate it. Anthem did it, and now Division did it. Anthem did it. It's just it's so bad.
Okay.
It's just cringe. It's cringeworthy.
Yeah, I was like, why would you go with this?
People talk like that. Like if they understood like what a gamer actually was, they would absolutely like. There'd be like 100% more swearing, screaming.
Yeah. Or even like just say, hey, up ahead, I know about this. You might want to use that. Like maybe check down that because people boost and stuff. Like people go around these maps and play this consecutively. Like, oh, hey, if you want to get this achievement, we want to test this out. It's like, okay, now do this, and that's
like. The thing I don't like about roleplay, like gameplay, is just like this, like sub boss character comes around the corner. It's just they're just talking as if it's just like a normal enemy type.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, we got a big guy here. It's just
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's just like people usually just yell and like when people talk, they say like, oh, you know, over here, or like, you know, oh, watch out for that, or he's for you, or I'm down and need reviving, or usually it's just like shit, I'm dead, and that's about it. Not like this polite kind of like dropping in kind of like, oh, hey Dave, how you doing? I'm not too good. I haven't been playing it much. I need help in leveling up.
Hey, you want to go check out the street downtown? Like,
it's way too polite.
One thing about the trailer that I thought was cringeworthy was just like in the view stuff, like when they were walking through the mall and they turned on the Christmas tree, one of them was like Merry Christmas. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, that bit was really the worst. But anyway,
or at the very end of the trailer when they go and says like, let's take Capitol Hill, it's like, and they just start and run, and then it cuts to flag. It's like, nobody talks like that. Who talks like that?
I mean, gameplay stuff was cringeworthy, but when they actually showed the trailer of like everything going on in the city, like the paper airplane and stuff, I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty cool trailer.
Yeah, the gameplay itself looks cool. Like I'm not interested in the Division. I didn't play the first one, but it does look like a good game. Visually looks good. I like the idea of like exploring, this sort of the
DC.
Washington DC's sort of now a kind of desolate wasteland in sort of areas. It looks like there's a water shortage and all of that, and there's because in the trailer you've got people fighting over. It was in the trailer, wasn't it? Where it's a pre-rendered trailer, but you've got like encampments, and then there's someone outside fighting and stealing water off
Fighting
people.
over a bottle of water and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks cool. It looks fine. It's not personally for me. Is anyone here actually interested in
People
it?
I think Justin and I both are.
I'm gonna be buying this day one probably. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
It
I
does seem
love
like you're
Division
about to play a
1.
game.
I love Division 1. I love that style of game. They're saying all the right things about wanting an end game or talking big about their end game stuff. This is just this is right up my alley.
Yeah, they said they're bringing 8-player raids into Division 2.
Yeah, so it's like this is right on my thing.
Each publisher is trying to get their own sort of destiny now, aren't they? This kind of platform, this sort of game as a service kind of thing. You've got EA working on Anthem. Destiny's already a thing. Obviously, Ubisoft has got the Division. So everyone's trying to go for a kind of an online platform for multiplayer, and the Division seemed to be pretty well received. A lot of people really liked it and went back in it when the first game I'm talking about, when it got like expansions and other stuff added to it. People went back to it, so yeah, it seems to have its fan base. So you guys are up for it.
For sure.
I mean,
what was I about to say? Maybe there's no tournament this time that everybody has to universally go to, and just maybe go PDA style. Like you can actually like look up like in a PDA or something. Like there's no hub world, or just like look up. And it's like,
yeah, I remember that when the screenshots had seen everyone queuing up in a line to go and turn in missions.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So
Well, and they said that in their after the press conference, they said too, like they were making some changes to like the quality of life stuff. Like they are saying the right things when it comes to that kind of stuff. Where it's like, hey, we know that the end game was not the greatest. We know that we kind of had a weird queue system, and they're kind of fixing that sort of stuff. So hopefully, they're saying the right things, anyways.
yeah.
Okay, all right then. We're moving on. The next one we've got is again from the Bethesda. Sorry, I lost my words there. Bethesda conference. We don't really need to know too much about it. This was just basically an announcement with a pre-rendered CG trailer. But this is Doom Eternal, the sequel to Doom 2016, a game that I really, really dug when it came out. Awesome game, awesome soundtrack. Often on Twitter singing its praises. I even bought it again on Switch because I like that game so much.
I'm glad it's not called Doom 2 for once. It's called Doom Eternal.
It's weird that it's backwards as well. I thought they would have been better called Doom. It makes more sense, but meh, whatever. I guess Doom has to be first, but in the naming. But whatever. By the looks of the pre-rendered trailer, it looks like basically bigger open areas. It looks like it's not on Mars anymore. It looks like it's on Earth.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ruin.
They did say Hell on Earth, so
well, there we go. Then it looks like if you played the first one, sorry, not the first, literally first Doom, but the last Doom. Basically no spoilers, but things didn't exactly go completely to plan by the end of the game, and it looks like it's sort of spread to Earth now. So rather than it just being on Mars, so I imagine it. I think they're probably going to go down the style of like say Wolfenstein 2, where there's quite large open areas to fight enemies in, and like probably different things to do. Not really my favourite aspect of Wolfenstein 2. I didn't really like it as much as the first Wolfenstein. The New Order and the Old Blood. I didn't really like the second one too much compared to them. But Doom, I'm well on board. The Doom 2016 was so good. It was inevitable that there was going to be a sequel for it. No gameplay yet. They said they're going to show the gameplay at QuakeCon. Will be the first glance of gameplay.
Yeah.
But who else is interested? Nomad?
I personally, I don't have interest yet.
No? Okay, that's fine. Vec, you interested? Did you play Doom 16?
I did play Doom 16. It was a pretty good game. The only problem I did have was mainly that I don't. I liked the trailer. I thought it was pretty good. The music was popping and really good, but I just don't like the name Eternal. I do like that it's not called Doom 2, but I don't like it's called Doom Eternal. Like it's trying to set up something interesting with the name, like it's gonna run eternally, or it's gonna do anything like life prolonging in that sense. It
I
sounds
don't know. I
weird.
wouldn't. I wouldn't read too much into it at this point.
It's so
I have,
weird.
I have a feeling it's supposed to imply that the like you'll be able to play the game for pretty much a long time.
Probably.
Maybe
A
Doom
survival
Battle
mode.
Royale.
No, don't even joke about that. They will actually do
No,
it. Or-
no.
or-
Well, I didn't really care for the mod in Doom 16. I just played it for a couple of trophies. I think that's what you needed to play for. I can't remember.
Remind me, did Doom 16 had like the actual like survival mode or not?
No. It had your typical PvP kind of team deathmatch sort of multiplayer. You can summon in and play as demons. The Switch version, I think it had an arcade mode added. I don't know if it was added in PS4, Xbox versions, because I didn't have it at that point where you just played the levels through with all the weapons and just sort of got a combo going. But no, it was just basic kind of like PvP. There wasn't any sort of survival kind of aspect to it. No doubt they probably had a multiplayer to this version as well, to Doom Eternal, I mean.
I would like a survival Doom game, like just like a pit straight with a lot of villains, like demons, because the game is built around survival of the fittest in like this space station. So why not make like a mode for survival? Like that would be the most logical.
Well, you could have done that because in Doom you had the snap map mode where you could build your own levels. You could have built your own survival level if you wanted to.
Yeah, but like a survival dedicated mode would be interesting. Because they have
Maybe.
they have the demons, they have the body types. They could do it. I just wonder if they will do it. But I'll
Time will tell,
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly. Yeah.
I have a feeling that's just not what it makes. Like, just not what makes Doom. Doom is just pretty much like running around shooting demons. It's just like super fast, super quick gameplay.
Yeah.
Survival will probably slow everything down.
Sure, we could just be an optional mode in the multiplayer or something. I don't know. But anyway, guys, we're on to our last one now. This one I don't really know much about. I saw the trailer and I have no input to it. This is Jump Force. This is that sort of anime style fighting game. It has like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. It did have Death Note in it as well. It's, from what I gather, basically this is just, again, I have no real knowledge about this. I don't watch anime. I'm not really into it, but it looks basically like a fighting game that's got a whole bunch of different anime, sort of like almost like Marvel versus Capcom style, but it seems to also be in the style of that. Was it Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Fighters or whatever it was called? Kind of that kind of style.
No, I don't feel like it's gonna be like that. I feel like it's gonna be like J-Star's Victory Plus.
It's gonna be like the Naruto games as well as J-Stars.
J-Stars, because I played a bit of J-Stars. J-Stars basically, you play in this open field against two or more characters, and you just pit it out against each other, flying around, throwing stuff up, comboing out with enemies, like trying to be range or just go headstrong into the fight. And I feel like this is going to be the same thing, but it's going to be more enclosed. Because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but in this game, when they were in maybe like Times Square or something like that in New York, they were basically like boxed into like these streets. So it's only on these streets. So I guess this gameplay is going to be like maybe like the Naruto games, or maybe like J-Stars, to be just more compact. Something interesting. Although I want to know more about the roster, because they only showed One Piece characters like Luffy and Zoro. They showed Death Note characters like Light Yagami and Ryuk. They showed
The work confirmed.
Yeah, Goku and Frieza. And I think there was one more. And Naruto. And what was the other character they showed from Naruto? Because I'm not familiar with that series.
Sasuke.
They confirmed Vegeta was in it too.
Yeah, they said Sasuke versus Zoro.
Okay, so
A gameplay session.
So we at least have something of that sort of a roster. So I wonder how many characters they will actually implement, and how ambitious it goes.
I really hope we get Bleach, because if we get Bleach characters in this game, I'm gonna like play it until the end of time. Like,
I feel like
gosh.
I feel like we're gonna get like current like Shonen Jump characters, like maybe JoJo characters, maybe Bleach, but Bleach is over, so who knows? Like My Hero Academia probably is a definite.
My Hero Academia is getting a separate game called.
I know it's getting its own game, but they probably have like a character or two in this game.
Probably.
But like Black Clover, there's a lot of Shonen Jump like characters that they could add in.
Yeah, because I think it's just gonna focus on Shonen Jump games. I mean, roster. So probably they're not gonna do any obscure characters like J-Stars, but they'll probably add like the bigger titles in. I don't know. Whatever they want to do, I will probably look into it because it looks interesting. No comment, Justin, or not interested?
I'm not even sure you guys are speaking English right now.
I'm in the same boat with you, Justin. I don't.
I mean, I know.
I don't know what this. I honestly don't know what this game is, and it's not really of interest to me. So
I know. All the characters in this game, and I think it's pretty cool. But it kind of looks like the same kind of battle system that Budokai Tenkaichi did on the PS2, like the Dragon Ball Z games, like the old fighting games. But from a story standpoint, I'll probably watch it on YouTube when it comes out, but I probably won't be picking it up.
I will probably watch some fighting streams. That will be interesting. But yeah.
Okay. Right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, we have talked a long time now about all of these games. We've given loads of opinions, if we're gonna buy them, if you have no interest, and we've basically covered a big chunk of E3. Like I said, we're not covering literally everything. It would be twice as long, but we've covered some of the biggest stuff here, some of the biggest announcements across pretty much all of the conferences. So, guys, it has been an E3 extravaganza. So, with that, I think we should start signing out and all of that. So, guys, let's find out where we can all find each other on the old internet. So, Vec, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DVectronic.
Cool. And B-Tips, where are you at?
On me on Twitter at GamerBtips.
Cool. Justin, how about you?
I'm on Twitter at ThisJustinGames.
Nice. Nomad? Nomad?
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitter as well. At Nomad Dragon. My mic is muted, sorry.
Unprofessional.
Go ahead.
Dazio, where can we find you?
Oh, thank you for asking, Nomad. Glad you could join us. You can find me on Twitter at @thedazio. So, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining in on this particularly long one, and we hope you enjoyed E3 and watching conferences if you could, and just joining in all the hype. So thanks for listening. As always, you can find our episodes on our YouTube channel, The Trophy Trust. Please support us there by subscribing to future episodes. You can also find updates on our Twitter at The Trophy Trust. In the profile there, you can find a link to our Discord, which we record this episodes and all of our shows on, the PlayStation Trophy Hunter server. Come and join us. Come and join the community. Get involved. We're constantly growing, and we're just a big old bunch of gamers, and we also like Trophy Hunter. So what's the excuse, huh? If you enjoy the show, consider supporting us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can find the link to that as well on our YouTube or through our Twitter. And it keeps us on the air, keeps all of our episodes up. And guys, this has been the Trophy Trust E3 Extravaganza. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with us for this long. And we hope you have had a good time. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Punish, you owe me $50.
Later, guys.